Alright, so I've been monkeying around with the audio on my computer. Let me know in the comments below if there's any improvement. Apparently there's been some audio glitches going on. I believe it's the microphone in this webcam. I tried switching over to the default microphone in the computer. It's not good. The sound's too low. The volume's too low. As with almost any built-in microphone system, it's just not very good. So if there's still no improvement, I'll order a microphone off Amazon or go to Best Buy tomorrow and take a look, and I can get a little microphone, a USB microphone, no problem. Because I like the webcam. I like the quality of the video that this webcam takes. So that being out of the way, let's take a look at tonight's action, because again, things are getting interesting. Nashville's killing Calgary. Now, I'm not sure when this started, but Goudreau is not Goudreau right now. And Bennett's out. And it was a big deal. Bennett was out. I'm not sure why. Bennett's not playing particularly well. And there's been a lot of people throwing mud all over the Jake Virtanen handling in Vancouver, but I don't see the Bennett handling in Calgary as being a lot better. The guy has no points in his last 10 games, and now they bench him. They sent him, and again, this is one of those things where a guy needs to play top 6 minutes to develop. Bennett has the potential. Not everybody plays through to that potential, though. You're going to have busts along the way, no matter which team you're talking about. There's going to be busts in there. So Nashville's just killing them tonight. The Islanders shut out Dallas. Islanders now have shutouts over Dallas and Boston this week. In an effort to give me a headache, the Islanders have decided to beat both of my teams. Mike Condon, who was a cast-off from Montreal and then cast off by Pittsburgh because they didn't need him anymore, he turns out to be a pretty good goaltender and gets another shutout tonight. 42 save shutout over Columbus, so the hottest team in the NHL, and Ottawa gets the shutout, which is good for them because Toronto lost at home against the Rangers. Grabner with 2 more goals. I don't know. I keep waiting for the wheels to drop out from under Grabner. He keeps scoring. He's had a one lull in there, but he is still scoring at about a 40-goal pace, and I can't explain it other than he's very streaky, and the player I've always compared him to is Peter Klima. Peter Klima spent a career being streaky, being good, but when he was cold, he kind of got invisible. You wouldn't even know he was playing if he wasn't scoring, because he didn't hit anything, he didn't play defense, and he wasn't particularly good at anything other than being a sniper. So he could play on the power play, and he could get hot and score goals, but that was the extent of his game. And Grabner's the one I've kind of compared him to. I had to laugh. Again, I was watching the Arizona feed in the third period with them against Minnesota, and of course, the Arizona was like, oh, this is it. Arizona's going to turn it around, and then Minnesota scores with about 7 minutes left. And, of course, right away it goes to replay, and they're like, oh, this could turn it around. And no, Arizona's lost 4 in a row. They have 13 wins, 32 losses. There is no turning this ship around. Arizona's on its way down. Chikrin with a goal. Demang was in net. Dubnik's in net. He didn't have to look fantastic, which is good. They need that kind of thing. Niederreiter with 2 goals. Stahl with another one. So big game for Minnesota. They get back on track, and I'm telling you, I again don't want to play many in the playoffs. Washington, I really am impressed with Washington. I know they blew their tire against Pittsburgh, and they lost that one 8-7 in overtime. But honestly, Washington again tonight, they went 7-3 over the Blues in St. Louis. Just slaughter. I think the funniest thing was hearing the St. Louis announcers as they showed the stats after the second period. They're like, well, this has been a good game for the Blues. Well, other than that 6-1 score, yeah, it'll kind of bite you, won't it? been a pretty good game if you don't look at the goals. So yeah, from a puck possession game, they did very well. This is the NHL we now live in. It's funny because there was a comment on Tim and Sid today that kind of piqued my interest a little bit. In that Sid Sixero says, look, you've got guys who can hit 40 home runs who aren't getting signed as free agents. Home runs used to be a big deal, and now they're not. Everybody's so into the analytics and the advanced stats. Eventually, could the NHL get to the point where guys who scored a lot of points and a lot of goals don't get the offers because their advanced stats aren't very good? Could that day happen? Could that day come where a defensive stalwart is more important than a guy who actually puts points on the board? It just, I thought it was a funny comment because, the NHL is kind of leading the same way. For me, when I look at stats, I look at goals, I look at assists, I look at ice time, I look at penalty minutes, especially if it's a guy like, for instance, a guy who's a relatively nice guy like a Henrik Sedin. If he's getting a lot of penalty minutes, it means two things. He's either very frustrated or he's lost a step. Players who aren't able to keep up with the game anymore, they're going to have to hook more, they're going to have to hold more, they're going to have to do a little cheat here and there to keep up with the younger players, and it results in more penalties. But, the advanced stats, I just basically don't get into that. Last night, I looked at last night's game between Edmonton and Florida, and when Edmonton scored with 2.5 seconds left, and what a goal. That was just beautiful. And Draisaitl has been an absolute revelation this year in Edmonton, and him and McDavid have something special together, and I really saw that last night in overtime, that they have a special symmetry on the ice together. I saw a couple of Oilers fans commenting, maybe like a Crosby-Malkin kind of thing. No. Think more along the lines of what Crosby and Sheary are doing right now. Okay, that's a closer analogy. They're line mates. So, whereas Crosby and Malkin are both centers, and usually it's been just that 1-2 punch that they can put Crosby over the boards, and then they can put Malkin over the boards. Draisaitl is the perfect winger for McDavid. And I really think that if these guys sign long-term contracts in Edmonton, you can build a team around that. And then a comment was made, too, about Chara and his effort in overtime last night against Detroit. Chara's done. I mean, Brandon Carlo, part of the reason that I think he's kind of hit a wall is he's been covering for Chara all season. Played a lot of ice time, and I think it's wearing the kid down. But I think Brandon Carlo is fantastic. I know rumor has it that Boston wants Landeskog, and why wouldn't they? But that the starting price was Brandon Carlo, and Boston scoffed at that. Like, that it's Carlo and something else. So it's not just Carlo for Landeskog. Okay, Sweeney's an idiot, but he's not that stupid. But Carlo's got something there. And I don't think he'll ever be a top point producer. I see him like the guy he was traded for, Johnny Boychuk. And while Landeskog is a really, really good forward, Landeskog's totals in Arizona. I get Arizona and Colorado mixed up because it's just the land of misery for both teams. But Landeskog's totals are not very good in Colorado. And Colorado, as a team, is just miserable to watch. So I would be very wary of buying low on some of these players. For instance, I think between Duchesne and McKinnon, I think Duchesne's the better player. I think Duchesne has more potential to be a point-a-game player or a 70-point player than McKinnon right now. I see more to like with McKinnon or with Duchesne than McKinnon. If I was going to trade one, I would probably trade McKinnon. I think you could get more back for McKinnon right now than you can for Duchesne, and that's what I would do personally if I was in that spot. But if it's Duchesne and Landeskog they're looking at moving, it'll be one or the other. I can't see both going. I just can't. As bad as Colorado is, I don't think Sakic's that crazy to get rid of both. And I think it'll be Landeskog. I think he's easier to move. I think with the cap hit being relatively the same, but Landeskog has the perceived higher ceiling than Duchesne and a more complete game than Duchesne. Do I believe that? Personally, no, but I could see why other people would. I think Matt Duchesne is special, and I think he needs the right environment to show it. This game tonight, Calgary could really use a Matt Duchesne down the middle. And I think you start with a Sam Bennett and something else. I know what Bennett can be, but man, if you had a shot at Duchesne in Calgary, I think you have to take it. Because, you know, with Duchesne and Monahan down the middle, there's your 1-2, and then anything extra is extra. You trade whatever you got to get them. But that's just me. And I'm definitely not GM of any team, and I know people in the comments below are going to tell me why that wouldn't work for either team. Even though Colorado was looking to shed salary, get a bit younger, Bennett would do both. And Bennett still has that potential. Just because he's being benched right now doesn't mean he doesn't have that potential. I look back at Tyler Seguin's rookie year, and there were plenty of times he was getting the short end of the stick. Anyways, I just figured that I would discuss what's going on in the NHL right now and wear a Slipknot t-shirt because this threw everybody off today. Even for Yvonne, it threw her off that I'm not wearing a jersey, that I'm wearing a t-shirt and a dress shirt over top. I bought this Slipknot shirt months ago, and I haven't had a chance to wear it, and it's just an absolute thing of beauty. So I saw this in my drawer last night, and I'm like, wait, I haven't even had a chance to wear this, and I bought it months ago because I'm always wearing hockey jerseys. So next video will be back in a hockey jersey, but I had to just for the beauty of Slipknot because they're amazing. So, all right. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll talk to y'all again real soon, and if you're just browsing through, don't forget to hit like and subscribe.